Hey guys, we made it to season 5 of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and in this season, we aim to empower and embrace creativity through diversity as we dive into the fascinating stories and experiences of a diverse range of individuals, highlighting their unique perspectives and creative endeavors, from artists and entrepreneurs to innovators and activists. We celebrate the power of diversity in driving creativity and fostering positive change. Join us as we engage in thought-provoking conversations like
I made myself intentionally homeless in pursuit of my purpose.
We're aware that a lot of people want to present and they were in my position, and what's worse, they weren't a white male, which is a joke that's even still a thing.
I think my family never ever say you can't do something, so full of support for whatever dream. If I said tomorrow I want to fly to the moon, they'll probably say I wish you all the best, Mel.
So guys, I just want to say thank you for supporting the Us People podcast for the past 5 years, and we look forward to sharing another new theme song with you. Let's go.
I'm Livio Harris, CEO of a lot of things: liquor business, movie business, music business, 35 years in the game. And you're listening to the Us People podcast with my girl, Savia Rocks.
I had to overcome a lot of obstacles just to get here. Embrace your innocence.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and today I have Livio here with me, who is the CEO of Harris Entertainment and Management. He's also a singer-songwriter, and he is the CEO, amongst other things, of Velocity Music Consultants LLC. Livio, thank you so much for taking your time to come on the Us People podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you as well.
Thank you so much. I'm really, really well, and I'm excited to actually have this interview with you. Music is something I love, and I'm sure a lot of people are gonna really appreciate, just you being on the show. So kindly, my first question for you is, could you tell me about yourself, where you grew up, and how that influenced you to be the person who you are today?
Yes. So I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, St. Louis, but then Kansas City, Missouri. It was Midwest. So I grew up there, and I moved to California in '89. Well, actually, before that, I joined the Marines. I was in the military, got out of the military, came to California not knowing anyone, and just found my way and started writing records for people, producing people. And then I got a record deal on Uptown Records, which is the Andre Harrell, Mary J. Blige, Shoulder C, I'll Be Sure guy. Diddy was actually a 17-year-old intern at the time. So come from Andre Harrell, Uptown Records, and then from there, I ran into Notting Hill actually, and they wanted me to, do a publishing deal with them, music publishing, and I didn't want to do that. So they made me kind of like the U.S. Connect. So my first thing was Will Smith, and then it went on to Nelly, Beyonce, some Michael Jackson stuff, Outkast, and then I met Adina Howard actually. So that's another chapter. Freak Like Me, big record still to this day around the world. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
See, you're very humble. I must say that you're very relaxed and humble about what you've done. Where there's so many people who are the complete opposite. It's nice to actually talk to somebody who, regardless of how they view success in their life, they still have a humbleness to them that grounds them in the world.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes I tell people there's so much stuff, I just do it and don't think about it. So it's kind of like, oh, I forgot about this. I know when I leave the interview, I'll be like, oh, I forgot about this, so. But yeah, that's the whole goal for me, is just staying humble. Like I said, I could be very cocky because I have accomplished a lot, but it's like, what is it going to do, right?
That's true.
Just keep it humble.
I believe you there. So my next question that I do like to ask guests goes a lot more into who they are as an individual. So can I ask you, can you define yourself as a person, and who do you see when you look in the mirror? But on the flip side of that question, has there ever been a time where you have looked in a mirror and not recognized the person staring back at you? How did you manage to go from a person that you may not have necessarily liked the vision of to becoming the person that you wanted to be with purpose?
Okay, that's an interesting question. Yeah, I mean, looking in the mirror, that's the thing. I've always been, everybody will say, I met you 30 years ago. You're still the same guy. You're still the same personality. You haven't changed. So I've never changed no matter what. Always humble and stayed exactly what I was 30 years ago is who I am now. I've actually been in the business for 35 years this year. So, but yeah, and as far as, who I became, I think a lot of that has to do with my influences, which was like Russell Simmons, Andre Harrell, those guys, Savia Rocks, females still in the States. She's the most powerful Black woman in the entertainment business for over 40 something years. So those were my influences to try to roadmap from what Russell accomplished, what Sylvia's doing, with Rest in Peace, Andre Harrell, with Uptown Records has created. So I followed them every day, like studied them. And that's what, if you notice, Russell had, Def Jam Records, Fat Form Clothing, Def Jam Comedy, and Andre was Uptown, which created the Diddies. We had multiple businesses and liquors. So kind of like had some, I guess you could say, good mentors.
That's one of the things. I think in life, having good mentors help ground you as well,
Right,
and steer you in the right direction. So let's talk about music. There are so many things that you could have gone into in your life, but you decided to choose music. What was it about music that made you feel a connection with, passionate about, made you want to write for people? Because that's powerful.
Yeah, as a kid, I was like in junior high to high school. I used to always run home from school and listen to the radio and try to mimic the successful artists at that time. So I would, sing, and my mom didn't know that I sang. Anytime she walked in the room, I would stop singing. And then when she leaves, I start singing, so it was always wanting to be an entertainer, a singer. And then I learned how to play guitar for a second. And the band kept breaking up. So I was like, forget this guitar stuff. So I started writing and singing. And, here I am, but as a kid, I was inspired by all the Stevie Wonders and, Luther Vandross and Chic and all those great artists back in the day. So that was my motivation.
I love that. When did you find out in your life that music had a universal, transparent language to break down barriers and connect people on a deeper level?
Probably once I became an artist in like 1990, I became an artist, and I realized, wow, so the songs we would write or produce, it kind of, open up. It kind of opened doors around the world, like the UK, and even Adina Howard, Freak Like Me. It was like that is a lot of what the Sugar Babes and a few people over there actually remade the record various times. So I realized, wow, this is London, then Japan. So it is a universal thing, language.
See, and that's what I love when people connect through music. So tell me about some of the influences in your earlier times, in the terms of family, because I know as we grow up, the people who are around us when we're growing up play an instrumental part of who we become. Are there people in your family or friends that help to push you to be who you are today?
It's crazy because I'm the only one in my whole family in the music business.
Whoa.
So like I was the only one. But my mom, she was like, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna do it. You got go to California and do your thing. So been there 35 years and never looked back. So I'm still here. But yeah, my mom's always say was the one that was just like, go do what you do. Even when she rest in peace, when she passed away, my sister was like, she didn't want me to tell you that she was sick because she felt like if you heard that, you would leave and come home to tend to me, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to keep living your dream. And I was like, what? So, she was definitely there. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like a sacrifice to me. It sounds
That's
like
crazy, man.
It sounds like a beautiful sacrifice to me. So one of the questions I do want to ask you is, a lot of people find it extremely hard to be in the music industry, but to stay in the music industry because of the competition. what would you say to anybody who's looking to have a career within the music industry but is finding it extremely hard? What would your advice or positivity be to them?
I'd say it definitely starts with good mentors, the people you hang around in this industry. So it kind of starts with that, being grounded with the right people that will keep you grounded. There's a guy, Kurt Woodley, who was my manager at the time, and my group was called For Sure, the number For Sure, and so he was our manager. So me and him stayed tight, but he also managed Mary J. Blige. He also managed this artist Jeff Redd, and he was executive vice president of Uptown Records. So he was an A&R VP, and then he still managed. So I watched him as well, and he was a very good influence on how I move to this day. It's like I look at myself. When you said the mirror thing, I guess it would be Kurt Woodley. Like, I'm like, wow, our lives kind of aligned. He's humble. He's discovered Alicia Keys. He's discovered Mary. He's discovered Jodeci. He's done a lot of those great things, but if you talk to him, you would think he's done anything. It's like, oh no, I'm not the guy. I'm just Kurt. I've done anything, So I think I've kind of gathered that from him, and we're still good friends to this day.
Who is Livio when he is by himself, when he is in his own thoughts, in his own room? Forget about music for a second, take it away. Who are you when you're just in your own space, in your own zone?
Just like you said, humble, and it's just constantly working, constantly thinking of the next move. I got the liquor, I have the music, then I have the publishing, I have the catalog, I have all these great things, but I'm like, okay, what's next? What do I want to do next? Technology. So, just to kind of chill, I like to go out, so I go to lounges and have my moments, because it keeps you young and youthful, So, but for the most part, just a chill guy that just always thinking of what's next.
Okay, cool. So tell me about, how important do you feel it is for an artist to know about the music business? I know we spoke about this even before we came online, but just from your perspective, how do you feel about artists learning more about the music business? They can be extremely talented, as we know, within the field of music, but what about the music business itself? What advice would you give to them?
Yeah, and that's the thing. As we currently, it's just kind of more like it used to be about the music and about the talent. Destiny's Child or Usher. You walk in the room, you just got that star power, and you have the look, the image, and all that. But now, unfortunately, it's not even about the talent anymore, because of the analytics and the whole, how many followers you got. It kind of screwed the game up. That's why the business is kind of a dying breed as far as major label mentality. But I think it's just, it used to be real, like, oh man, you come in the office, perform, let me hear your music. Oh wow, you're talented. Who's your lawyer? Let's go. Yeah. Now it's turned into how many followers you got, how many Instagram followers, how many Spotify, and that's what kind of messed the game up, and it makes it hard. And that's why a lot of artists that are super talented, they don't make it, because they're like, I don't have the money to pay for TikTok or pay somebody to boost my numbers up. So it is a lot of talented people that will never make it, only not because of their talent, but because they're just not financially fit to. So it's almost like the haves and the have-nots. So it's like, if you got money or you got somebody backing you, then you have a great shot. If you don't, it's a little tough unless you go viral, like TikTok. Okay, like Old Town Road. He did that record. He was saying that he had $7 in his bank account. So then he did this Old Town Road record. With the country vibe, and his friend was like, "Yo, give me this record. I could put it on TikTok." And he was like, "What's that?" So he put it on TikTok. I got the roses in the bag, and it just went viral. And he ended up doing a $7 million record deal. So that's don't happen every day, but it's either viral or money at the end of the day.
That's destiny.
Find a record that can go viral, that make people want to dance to it. With that record, people were putting on cowboy hats and riding horses, and it turned into a thing, right? So,
Yeah.
and then so that's the thing to me. It's like either being a record that they can go viral that people want to re-emulate or make a dance to it, or just really find some investors or somebody with the money. Other than that, they made it so difficult, you know, to break through, and that's why the music is what it is today. It's not the same, you know, the '90s and Mary J. Blige and Josie and Dusty Child. You listen now, you're like, what is going on? You know, you got the mumble rap stuff, which is cool. I listen to it all, but it's just a different day, you know.
It is. It's totally different. It doesn't. I understand there are elements of music that we still connect to, but it doesn't feel the same. I was having a conversation with my friend just the other day, and we were actually saying the same thing. Music isn't the same compared to way back in the 80s or 90s comparing to now. It's so different. It's so different. But maybe maybe I just have an old soul. Maybe that's just what it is. It might just be that. What is the best advice you feel you have ever received from somebody that has helped you in your life?
Okay, I would say that the best advice was, you're gonna get knocked down. You got to get back up and keep going. Don't take no for an answer. Yep. You know, there's a lot of haters out here that would, try to deter you from following your dreams. But you're gonna get doors slammed in your face. You're gonna get knocked down. You're gonna get a bunch of no's. But just know that that's not the end of all. So that was one of my, advice is just keep going. And so again, in '89, I got to LA. Now it's 24, excuse me. And I just look back like, wow, I did that, I did this, I'm doing this. Wow, how did that happen? And that's God, obviously. But I just kept going. And people say that, they're like, man, one thing about you never give up. You'll start something. If it don't work, you're on to the next. You just keep pushing no matter what. And that advice was, don't give up. Don't take no for an answer. You're going to get knocked down, but you got to keep going.
See, that's great advice. This is the one question I do want to ask you. If there was one song that was the soundtrack of your life, what song would you choose and why would you choose that particular song?
Wow, that's that's an interesting question. I would say, interesting. What song? Soundtrack of my life. And it's because the thing is, there's so many songs in my head right now. So it's like, which one of thousands, right? I would say, wow, that's a great question, actually. I would say, well, there's a record. It was called Hustle Hard. Can't remember the artist, but it was a big hustle, same old, just a different day, so kind of motivational, but from a Marvin Gaye or one of those type of artists, I would say, what's the record with Marvin Gaye was, What's Going On, one of those, but that was a good question. You caught me off guard with that one. So, we'll be more prepared on that one.
I like that. I like that one. That's cool. If there was one question that you wished people would ask you, but nobody ever really has asked you that question, what question would it be and why?
You said no one's ever asked me a question. What was it? Repeat the question again.
If there was something that you wanted someone to ask you, but nobody has ever asked you that question, what question would it be and why?
What question would that be? How do you sustain, over 35 years? It's really crazy. No one's ever really asked me that, but like, how do you sustain, and how do you keep the motivation to stay in this game when there was a lot of downs, a lot of ups, a lot of almost homeless moments, so, how did you maintain all these years of 35 years of still being excited about the game?
I'm going to ask you that question now. How did you stay excited, even especially in the bad times? How did you lift yourself up? How did you say, yeah, this is what I want to do? How did you kick down doors and jump through opportunities? What was it like for you?
Again, I think, I always like, I got to do this for Russell. I got to do this for Andre Harrell, because these are my guys who I used to look out for, look after. Like, I wanted to be them. So I was like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. And when I'm ready to quit, it's just like, nah, Andre wouldn't be cool with that. My mom's, rest in peace, would not be cool with that. I got to do it for her. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what, I got to do it for her. I got to do it for Andre Harrell, Russell, the people that paved the way. So I think that would be my answer for that.
So many people define success in a different way. Some people define success just by waking up in the morning through cancer. Some people define success by passing a driving test. What does success mean to you, and how do you define success within your life?
I just think, again, for me, just accomplishing every goal, like bullet points that I've created along the way, and actually knocking them down, just accomplishing all the goals that I've searched out to succeed with. So I think it's just accomplishing every little thing that I put on the bullet point on the board, and seeing them come through. And again, it's just visualizing it, like I can do this and I can do that, or I can be this, and just really attacking them and doing it. And then what's the next?
See, I like that terminal, because then you're giving yourself a positive mindset to be able to do what you want to do and how you want to do it.
Right. And I've learned that. I hear it all the time. Like, you do anything you want to be. You could be president. You could, I hear these people, they telling the kids of today that you could look at Obama, so I agree with that. If you put your mind to it, that's what you want to be, you will be, you know what I'm saying?
I love asking people about peace within themselves. So when was the last time that you felt totally at peace with yourself?
I mean, right now, I would say now, but early on, maybe, would say maybe like halfway through my journey of 35 years, I was like, yeah, I've arrived. I'm who I'm supposed to be. Things are moving like it's supposed to be. And so I feel at peace. I'm able to look back and say, wow, I did that. I did this. So I feel that's I've kind of accomplished my goal. Actually, I accomplished because when I came here, it was just to be a songwriter, producer. And then it turned into a manager, a recording artist, a liquor owner, a publishing company, a film and TV executive. And it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I don't even think about it. I just till I do an interview and I'm like, wow, I did that. Wow, I did all that. It's like, just do it and don't even think about it.
I think that's the beautiful thing about life. I think you go on a set journey and you say you're going to accomplish this, but then, like you say, God turns around and he says, nope, you're going to do this, 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 and this, but you don't know it's actually coming for you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that's one of the most beautiful things about life, is the spontaneity of life and how it can change you and it can change for you. So I totally love that. I've only got 2 more questions for you. And my second to last question for you is, when you feel like you've done enough in the world, what do you believe that you would like your legacy to be, and how would you like to be remembered?
It's funny you said that, because I'm working on a book so that I could leave that behind as part of legacy. But I just, legacy, I want it to be more like that guy never changed. He always was the same personality. He knocked down barriers, and, he's that guy. He's just humbly knocked down all the barriers, never changed. Everybody says, this guy's been wearing all white suits and hat and sneakers for 20 years. Like, he's branded now. So if I wear another color, it's over. It's like, what the hell's going on? Why you got a blue hat on? What's up with that red shirt? So it's like, So I'm bonded with the all white. So that's my thing out here. Is like, this is the guy, and that's the name of the book. Guy. It's like the book is called, well, the book title right now tentatively is called uh, the guy in all white. They know but they don't know. Like, it's kind of like people know something, that I know this guy, or I know that he's somebody, but I don't know. I kind of know, but I don't know. But so it's like the guy in all white. So that's kind of like the title.
I'm definitely gonna have to get a copy when it's done.
Yes, I'm totally trying to wrap it up. So I mean, it tells everything from childhood to now. Same thing we just talked about in interviews. So it's going to be that book, and the legacy for me too is to be able to say that this guy's never burnt the bridge. He's always been nice to everybody. Yeah. Never had any bad blood out here. Never did anything shady. He's just always that, as I guess you say, guardian angel. It's like like, you're an angel to people. I've helped people make millions. I've helped people become successful, and they're like, "What, I owe you nothing. Don't worry about it." That kind of thing. Like, I don't owe you nothing. You just got me $1 million deal. So it's like, in my earlier days, I'm like, "Oh, don't worry about it." But it always comes back to people say, "Man, this guy got me my first check, or this guy got me my first deal," and this guy, I don't remember, but he introduced me to Savia Rocks. So I just keep giving. I think that's why I get good karma, I get blessings, because I give, and I get blessed with more.
I've always been taught that if the more you give, the more good karma you receive. But it's not about you receiving; it's just about you giving, and it just naturally happens by itself.
Exactly.
I think that's a beautiful thing. So my last question before I say thank you to you for coming on the show is, I would love for everyone to be able to find you. If you would like people to find your social medias, to maybe if they would like to ask you any questions, where can they find you?
Yes, so it's Livio, that's L-I-V as in victory, I-O. Well, Instagram is at Livio, all white Harris, because I had another Livio that somebody hacked. So I had to change it. So I just said Livio, all white Harris. So that's the Instagram. Facebook is just Livio Harris. And then my email is livio.harris@gmail.com.
See, guys, I want to say, Livio, I want to say thank you to you, first of all, for taking your time to come on the Ask People podcast, for sharing your story, for sharing your humbleness, but more than anything, just being your humble self and allowing people to just hear the story of who you are. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And this is actually my first in 35 years international interview.
See, I like this one. Yeah.
Yes, this is my first one ever. So there you go.
I like this
Appreciate you reaching out. Yeah.
Definitely. Most definitely. I always say positivity finds positivity in the world.
There you go.
I definitely will say that.
That's a good quote. Yeah, I'll use that one day.
Definitely. You're more than welcome to. Guys, I want to thank you so much for listening and watching the Ask People podcast. And please remember, you can subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or any other platform you prefer listening to. And this is where I say, guys, thank you so much for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another. Take care.
Thank you.
I fly like I'm Superman. Spread your wings and let the wings. I fly like I'm Superman. Spread your wings and let the wings. I fly like I'm Superman. Spread your wings and let the wings. I fly like I'm Superman.
Through the darkness of the night, you'll be guided through the light.
Look at Obama, so I agree with that. If you put your mind to it, that's what you want to be, you will be. You know what I'm saying?
Just move on, so you can be free. Spread your wings and let the wind glide you high. We're just soaring through this journey, leaving fear far behind. Our hearts are filled with courage. You can win if you try. Redirect the yes to you. You'll see the power in yes if you try. I fly like I'm Superman. Spread your wings and let the wings. fear fall behind. Our hearts are full of courage. You can win if you try. Redirect the yes to you. You'll see the power in us. If you try.